Call the meeting to order. I would like to welcome all the guests from Hampshire Lane and the scouts as well. Welcome. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Second.
right.
Yeah.
In discussion, I had two changes to the agenda. One is a slight change in two words on the procurement policy. We'll be reading that. And the second is a motion to approve a legal resolution to bring an end to a legal matter for the town.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Oh.
Okay, public comments. We're ready for public comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. And you're welcome to come up to the podium because there's a recording going on, so it'll be entered into the record, whatever you say. And the board doesn't respond to comments made. This is really a public comment, but we will enter your comments into the record. We will be considering the things that you've said.
My name is Sandra Butters. I live at 35 Hampshire Lane. And we have a big concern with our towns and they're protecting our property. We have 3880 Rushmenden Road. They have put in so-called a driveway. And I don't know what the town's definition of a driveway is, but I thought it's over an acre. That's no longer a driveway. And it seems to me that nothing was posted for a permit. I mean, yep, you bought a property, but there was they never had a driveway in. I don't know what the regulations are for the town, but we're concerned because on 4/8 at 12:37, a bulldozer comes down the back of our property, which there's no markers where his property is and where our property is. And somehow a surveyor should have been out there either with a spray can spraying where his property line is and what he's doing. And then at 4/9 at 6:25 a.m., all of a sudden the bulldozer and backhoe comes in and they're digging up even more and laying stone and gravel. Now, is there a permit? Does the town request a permit for a new driveway? Because that's an improvement. And if he doesn't need a permit, we'd like to have an explanation from you folks. Why? And where's the site plan? What does he plan on doing? We notice that there's 2 markers out there in the property. We don't know what those markers are for. There's stakes, 2 wooden stakes with a blue paint on it. And we don't know what those are. Now, since the property lines aren't marked, no surveyor has been out there for him. He's got posted signs up all over. They're at random in and out of our property, but we don't know where our property line is either for the HOA, our common ground. But I think that maybe somebody should be out there with a surveyor to mark where his lines are, where he owns and where we own. And is in your business resident property section 267 G and H, you know, it says that he's supposed to be 100 feet from a residential property line, and it doesn't look like that's 100 feet. It's varies if it's 50. So we would like to know what the town plans on doing to protect us. We are all taxpayers. We have to abide by the rules. This man hasn't abided by his rules already in the town of Mendon when he put his pool in. And he was already, you know, nothing was done about that. And if he is not within his boundaries, I want it ripped up. And I think all of our homeowners do too. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address, please.
I also live on Hampshire Lane, and my property backs up to the common area, which backs up to his property.
Your name and
I-
address, please.
Pardon me.
Can I have your name
Oh,
and
I'm sorry,
address? Just for the
Victoria
record.
Gabriella. I called Mr. Emmy Friday, left a message. He returned my call Saturday. We had a very long, polite call. However, I asked him when he sent the letter to us last November, telling us that he bought the land and he would like us not to be putting any leaves or debris or anything back there, which of course we were using it. He said in that letter that nothing would be taking place on that land for 18 to 24 months. So I asked him why he was putting a road in, and he said, well, when he and his family get there and they're having some fun or activities, he wanted access available for emergency vehicles such as fire trucks, ambulances, what have you. So I just said, well, did you have a survey done? He said, yes. I said, well, where are the stakes? He didn't have an answer. He did say he thinks that he may have made some mistakes by not getting permits or applications. So I also asked him why he had a fire pit back there and they had been burning. I did not see it, but neighbors said that it had been burning. As I understand it, the governor has a no fire ordinance out right now. So, and then there's a small shed of some sort. And he just said, well, I guess I might have made some mistakes. And that's all. So I don't have anything else to say unless you have a question for me.
I do
you.
not.
I can get by.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Charles Whalen, a Mendon resident living on Hampshire Lane. I'm here to express concern for my family and my neighbors about 3808 Mendon Road, Rush Mendon Road, a 16.3 acre site that includes the former Hillcrest Foods. The western portion of our Hampshire Lane circle borders what has long been a large vacant portion of those 16 acres. 3808 Rush Mendon Road was sold last fall, and we've recently seen indications of its use and development. These include the property's availability for overnight truck parking advertised online through a national network truck parking. There has also been digging equipment operating on site, dumping of dirt and gravel for a road extending along the backside of Hampshire Lane properties, and apparently laying drainage pipes. When I contacted the town supervisor and some of the members of the board to learn what was planned for the site, I was told the town has given no permits and has seen no requests for the property's development. I was also told that truck parking requires industrial zoning, while the property is zoned commercial with the current designation for cold storage. Hampshire Lane is a quaint residential neighborhood, and the neighbors with whom I've spoken ask only that you ensure that any development or use of 38 Rush Mendon Road considers all existing town rules and procedures and ensures that those are enforced. And that you keep in mind our neighborhood when you deliberate on any future development and use for that property. Tonight I come with my wife, but I've also been asked to speak on behalf of a handful of neighbors, Hampshire Lane, and also Stone Circle, which is just across from the site we're talking about. All of whom have made it clear to me that they have followed the rules and procedures with their own properties and who couldn't attend for health or other reasons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dale Wick, and I live at 29 Hampshire Lane. And like the previous speakers, I also have concerns about that land behind Mendon Square. And when Mr. Emmy sent out a letter to the community, I called him back because he graciously left his telephone number. And I spoke with him and he said that, I asked him what his intentions were for the property. And he said that there was to be no development at all for at least 24 months. And, you know, lo and behold, as my neighbor said, you know, he comes in with, you know, heavy equipment, builds, you know, what really amounts to a road. I would even classify it as a driveway. Now, I spoke with Corey about it, and he said that, well, he's entitled to, you know, have access to his property. Well, I asked him if there was a permit, and he said there wasn't at the time. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, as other people have mentioned, he is involved, I think, with the franchise allowing tractor trailers to park in his small parking lot there. And, you know, those are clearly against the rules, and he did not have a permit for that. And as far as having, you know, access to his property, that is only supposed to be, as far as I read in the bylaws, that it has to be under 200 feet, and that is the extension of an existing driveway. If you look at Google Maps before he bought the property, there was no driveway at all there. And it was just a small parking lot. You know, Mr. Emmy lied to me on several occasions. I don't think he has respect for the law, and he doesn't have or cares about his neighbors or the community. He just says whatever is convenient for him to pass the buck, because so far there has been no repercussions at all from the town for some of the things that he has done. It appears to me that if you look at the bylaws 260-18, paragraph F, his driveway is not supposed to be any closer than 100 feet from our property. It is clearly within 100 feet of our property. And, you know, he's getting away with all this stuff, and there's no consequences for him. So why would he continue to do it? He has the mindset that he can do anything that he wants to do. And he has the history of doing anything he wants to do while not complying with the rules and regulations. So I think that at this point, the town really has to come down on what he has done and make sure that no future violations occur. If that driveway is not outside of the 100 feet boundary, I want every stone taken out of that driveway and put where it belongs, which is not on his property. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? For public comment? No? Okay, we're gonna move on to, you know, I guess I'm gonna make one statement about what everyone here was speaking about. There are consequences. I just want to clarify that the complaints and calls came in Friday. Our code officer did go there and meet the owner of that property there, told him to cease everything he was doing. And he did, as far as I know, the owner of the property has stopped. And there is a appearance ticket that has been written and is being sent to him for violation of the code. And that's just one that we can do immediately. There's another one we'll be working on, you know, just interpreting the code and working with our attorney to see what else we might be able to do. Just so you know, I just wanted to make that one statement. That's it. I can't take any more questions. But, and I did want to say we reached out. I know Corey spent the day calling people back, any calls I got or emails I got, I called back and responded to people, all in the same day, so. I just wanted to clarify that, thank you.
If I may just make one
Okay,
unrelated comment. It's a crowded house tonight. We are broadcasting this to people who can't be here in person. So if we can keep chatter in the audience down to a minimum, that would be really great so that everyone can hear what's going on. Thank you all.
it's easy to forget about that, so. Okay, we are moving into communication, so we can hear from the town clerk.
Okay, so as of this morning, we were about 96% collected for the town and county taxes. So we'll continue collecting those through next month. The records management grant, we filled it, sent out the complete application. It was submitted, and I think I sent a copy to everybody. If I didn't, I thought I did. The AFR was submitted, and I sent copies out to everybody of that also. First quarter payroll reported to PERMA by myself. So then now going forward, the new payroll will do the next quarter. So that's all final. The first 75 boxes of building department records were picked up by the scanning company. And I've also had a lot of questions for Sharps recycling. There's not a good area in town, so I've teamed up with Department of Health and with DEC. I have to get a special permit to do it, just to have a collection bin downstairs. It'll be a very large one where people can drop their Sharps that they have at home instead of having to try to go to Eco Park and get rid of them, or however they're doing it now.
Sharps?
That's
Like needles, diabetic
Oh,
stuff. Yep, so they'll be able to just bring them and drop them off here, and then we will dispose of it. If I dispose of it myself on my own time, it's free, so I'll probably do that. If we do hire a company, there's a couple out there. It's relatively not bad. It's like $30 or $40, you know, every time they come pick up. But for now, I'll see how it turns out, and I'll try to do it myself. So
Fantastic, great resource, thank you.
yeah, so that was something I get a lot of comments about, so I looked into it, and hopefully that'll be coming in the next couple months.
Great.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Board members, Tom, do you have anything for us?
On Thursday, March 12th, I attended the ZBA meeting. There was one application on the agenda, was to construct a 24 by 40-foot detached garage in front of the principal dwelling. It was approved with conditions that the structure matches the roof color, siding color of the existing home, and the style as close as possible. On the 17th, supervisor, myself, and Kevin, head of buildings and grounds, met with Virgie Energy, do an energy assessment on our town-owned buildings. This is the very first start of it. I know Joe will elaborate more on this. And I think it's something that we should look into. You know, we've got a lot of older buildings and we're probably wasting a lot of energy. So this is in the very first phase one of it. You don't have to go with this company. They're just going to do a survey for us. Then we'll go from there. We can compare it with other companies to see what they find and what they missed and whatever.
I believe that the assessment, the survey is at no charge to the town, right?
No charge, no charge. On the 25th, we had our monthly meeting at the highway department. We discussed increase in fuel prices in regards to the budget. The highway superintendent feels we're covered on that. We talked about the timeline for the Belt Hill Road project. And because of that, we're going to be getting the additional fill to finish filling the soccer fields with the expansion on the soccer fields. And we discussed placement of speed location signs we put up every year. Last year, they were up by the middle school. I put the main house road. I believe they're going to put those up there now until the end of the school year, and then we'll move them someplace else in town. And we discussed costs for the Stony Wilson project.
Thank you. Any questions from board members?
I was just curious what the Boughton Hill Road project is.
They will widen Belt Hill, resurface it, Last year, they did from West Bloomfield Road east to the county line.
Yeah.
This year, they're doing West Bloomfield Road west to Quaker Meat House Road,
Okay, thanks.
county project,
And our town will be doing that work.
yes.
Cool.
They reimburse us for that.
Yep.
Okay. On March 11th and April 8th, I attended the Historic Preservation Commission meeting. They reviewed and voted on the EPOB 5 overlay map, which was recently completed by Monroe County GIS Mapping Services. It's been in the works for approximately 4 years. The map was sent to the supervisor and will be shared with the town board after the planning board attorney reviews it. The HPC has also been researching designating a historic district for the hamlet, and information has also been sent to the supervisor to share with this board at the next month's meeting. And the town historian has been very busy with requests from many different people on the town history, which has been exciting for her. On March 13th, Tanner and I started the town financial audit for 2025 for the months of October, November, and December. We had several questions, and so a meeting was scheduled with Laura Landers, the Director of Finance, and on March 19th, she helped us understand a little more of our questions. She mentioned that there is a new journal letter code. I don't know if you noticed on the supervisor's report, but there is a A203 for cash and a 204 for the CD in Canandaigua National Bank. And she did mention that the investment funds in the NI class have a better interest rate than some of our other CDs. On March 18th, I completed the annual core audit, which will also be mentioned in tonight's agenda. On March 26th, I took a webinar town training from MRB for the basics of running a meeting and the open meeting law. And on April 7th, I attended the Climate Smart Communities Task Force meeting, and we discussed updating the original resolution to increase the number of members. And we also talked about this best choice on how we will tackle this checklist. So I'm sure Rebecca will have more to comment on that meeting.
Is that all?
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
So I'm not as good with my dates, but I'll try. March 10th was the Environmental Conservation Board meeting, discussed a subdivision of a 20.8 acre lot, which I'm sure Tanner will talk more about. They look at it with the lens of the various environmental overlays, the EPODs. Kim mentioned EPOD 5, which is the historic preservation overlay. There's 9 EPODs in total. This lot, we don't know what its intended use are for subdividing, but we just noted that there are 2 EPODs on that property, one for wood and timber harvesting and one for soil susceptible to ponding. So whatever their intended uses are, they'll want to consider that. And we also happen to look at this wetlands map, and the property is listed as having wetlands on it as well. So something else to keep in mind. The ECB would like to, next month's meeting, we're going to have an agenda item to, they want to just give an overview of what it is they do to the board, just as a presentation, talk about what they are doing now relative to what is written in the code that they should be doing, and think through any strategic changes to either one of those 2 things. So they'd like to give a presentation next month. So Climate Smart Communities, I actually attended, I missed one of, we've had 2 meetings per month in March, and we're gonna have 2 in April. We, as Kim said, are looking to, we got some really fantastic letters of interest and resumes for the couple of positions that were open, and it was tough to select. So we are expanding the task force to 11 voting members. So we'll be voting on them tonight. We also got confirmation from Corey Gates that he would be our town official representative. So we're really excited about that. We have an action plan that we'll be presenting to the board probably next month for your buy-in and thumbs up in general. That gives us some organization to how we're going to tackle the various activities and objectives. So look forward to that next month. On the 6th of this month, I attended the library meeting. One of the things that they talked a lot about is that the former Critics building, which that property is owned by the town. I think the sale of that property has been finalized. It hasn't been. It's owned by the village. Owned by the village, excuse me. It's owned by the village of Honeywell Falls. It's going to be turned into an urgent care facility, and they have some concerns about how that might impact traffic and how it might impact just the visual aesthetics of the building. So I know that they're working with the mayor, town mayor, to look at site plans and understand what could be done about traffic concerns. For the Community Engagement Advisory Committee, we did publish an ad for letters of interest. We've started receiving some letters and expressions of interest. Probably going to extend the period to receive letters a bit longer so that we can get some more information out to the town about what the committee is and how people can get involved. Two more things. I did a lot of work this month on policies and procedures, understanding what we have, kind of cataloging what's there, who has it, where it exists, and what state it's in, mostly in terms of how old it is. So I put together a tracker that lays out what they are and could hopefully help us make progress and understand how we're going to tackle updates. Same thing with positions that was included in the policies and procedures manual. There's a number of positions that seem to be outdated and irrelevant, so we might want to relook at those positions and in addition to the policies, think about how we update. Same thing with the disaster plan. I spent a lot of time with the town's disaster plan. It's a bit outdated. We should think through how we want to update the disaster plan. There is a recent addition to it from 2022, I think, which is the hazard mitigation plan, which is an appendix to the disaster plan, not the whole thing. So, and lastly, I'd really like to get an internal summit planned that brings together committee members and department heads to just kind of have a, here's what I do, here's what you do, here's how we can work together better. It would be open to the public, but it's really intended to be an opportunity for everyone to learn what everyone else does and think about some alignment. So that's it. Sorry to drone on.
You were busy too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can just talk a long time.
All right,
Tanner.
thank you. So this month, instead of the planning board meeting on March 18th, the board had one action item and several discussion topics. So the Bonzo 2 lot subdivision was approved unanimously, enabling the applicant to split his 20-acre parcel and give part of the land to his daughter. Under general discussion, the board, and thank you, Michelle, discussed digitization of the planning board records and confirmed that it's underway and benefiting from the recent digitization grant. The chairman also discussed with the attorney Young about a modification to the subdivision code and enabling a minor subdivision that doesn't require a multi-meeting review process. There was not agreement or not concurrence across the board, so no action was taken. The April 1st meeting was canceled. Attorney Young offered to host an online training session for the board members. Also attended the American Legion meeting. This month, they did the interview process at the Honeywell Falls Lima High School to recommend incoming seniors to participate in Boy State this summer. So I, along with 3 other Honeywell Falls Legionnaires and 1 Lima Legionnaire, interviewed about 8 students from Honeywell Falls High School and were able to recommend them to Boy State this summer. I've had quite a few questions from residents about potholes on roads. I know, Pete, you've fielded 1 or 2 calls as well. Wanted to see if there's anything that we could do for reaching out to Department of State to try and highlight some of the potholes on 251 and some of the other county roads. Today I spoke with Mr. and Miss Bates at 37 Hampshire Lane. So went out, was able to kind of walk their property. She also sent an email, which I won't read, but just kind of reiterated some of the points that the residents here talked about, being woken up at 6:30 a.m. to heavy machinery creating what she called a road parallel and very close to the HOA property. She did express thanks to the supervisor and the CEO, Corey Gates, for taking action whenever it was raised and stopping it on Friday after learning about it. So I have a copy of the email, happy to pass it, but much of what they expressed was covered in public comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. I really want to commend the whole board. You're all so busy and you invest a lot of time, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Highway,
So we decided on Summer Road at the highway department that winter is all over with. We did 88 plow and salt runs this season. All our salt is purchased through this year. And it's all in-house, so we'll not be purchasing any more salt till January 1st for the contract and the purchasing system. All the highway people completed their safety training. I don't know, some of you may have seen that we did the slip. Not really survival, but the slip hazard, from PERMA. Cold storage building, all the insulation and the panels and all that stuff, electric boxes will be all done by Gabarro. We're just waiting for the board to put the fire. It's gonna take care of the heating and stuff like that to extend it to that. Casco does have to come back one more time for the alarm system. And we did have a trouble alarm today, so I'll be back tomorrow. Regards to storm damage from a couple of weeks ago, Plains Road was pretty much the only area that was of any significance, and it was all over with by early afternoon.
with no damage to the
With
road.
no damage to the road or anything like that. Due to that rain, Monroe County DOT is addressing a culvert pipe at West Bloomfield Road just east, or I'm sorry, Cheese Factory Road just east of West Bloomfield, maybe like 400 or 500 feet. So we may be doing a kind of an emergency culvert replacement there for drainage off the property there.
Is it county or state?
That is county,
That's county.
so, but highway department will probably be doing the work, I would guess, so. As far as Belt Hill Road project goes, Keeler Construction, no, I'm sorry. Keeler's gonna do the culvert, out on Belt Hill Road, just west of 64. It's already started a little bit. They've done some site work there. That's not gonna, no road closures until June 22nd, and they will have the job completed by July 15th. Belt Hill Road project, we're gonna start that right after Memorial Day as far as road, widening it, filling, repaving and all that stuff. So that'll be 2 or 3 different events, but the majority of the work will be from Memorial Day until the middle of June. And then later in the season, we'll come back, final paving. They started work at Taylor Road and Chamberlain Road. They were rerouting the utilities there. And I do not have any closure date when that culvert's gonna be replaced. We've started roadside cleanup, sweeping state intersections, and we'll get into the cul-de-sacs. So the most important part is potholes for tonight. So I can't reiterate enough. I talked to the Region 4 section in East Rochester again today. And the most effective way is to call 1-800-POTHOLE, just flood them with phone calls, I guess. And we do it, send emails, call them every day.
Pete, I just would like to reiterate that you call them every single day.
Oh,
Because I want people to understand that
Right.
we are doing everything that we can.
Right.
And
We are not permitted to go out on state highways and fill potholes, and that I'm sure as Facebook reported, we did do it, but it's kind of in an emergency, situation, then you don't really have any alternative, but, for safe travel. Their DOT crews are out 7 days a week, the asphalt plants, some of them opened up last week. Honey Falls asphalt plant was supposed to open today, it's probably gonna be tomorrow. So there will be more permanent repairs to the potholes and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I got.
okay. So when you're done with Bowden Hill, could you keep going on Bush Mendon Road?
Yeah, I gotta talk to a guy, so Yeah, there is supposed to be significant improvement to Rush Mountain ground animals, so. I believe they're gonna do some kind of like a 2 or 3 foot fill in some of those areas where there's, let's say, 50 or 100 feet of continuous pothole. And, that's supposed to be milled out, they'll probably section those back in, would be kind of the quick fix. There's been a rumor that I have no confirmation from, that they're gonna resurface from either the four corners of Rush or West Henrietta Road, all the way to the four corners of the hamlet, but
Wow.
I cannot confirm that at all, but it's kind of a rumor that somebody said, you know, well, why don't they go all the way to Miles Square? I don't know, the governor has a lot of pothole repair money going on, so that's kind of where we're at, so. But we're gonna get into, brush pickup is gonna start next Monday. And then they'll probably take 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll be right into road construction for the summer season. So we do have a lot of county road work lined up. We're gonna do a lot of subdivisions, stone and oil, and some repairs. So there's quite a bit of work going on.
For those that don't know, when our highway department does county work, we're paid for that. That's a
Right.
source of revenue for the town.
The same as plowing and salt
Yeah.
for state highways. There's
Yeah.
also reimbursements.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all I got.
Winter season's over and road work season's in.
Gotta get past Mother's Day. Yeah. So,
And
no,
just-
we should be all, you know, we still do have solars on like 2 or 3 of the trucks, but hopefully we are gonna use it.
I have a special place in my heart for the years where I can both mow my lawn and shovel my driveway in the same day.
Same.
Yeah. Check.
Okay, engineer.
Good evening. Just wanted to update you on a couple of projects we're working on with you guys. Grant applications, we've been working with the supervisor, looking for different opportunities for funding. The state has different programs that are out there. Actually 2 that we've tagged, is one for drainage improvements. And another is in regard to some of the requirements that New York State requires of the different towns, which is the MS4 mapping. Go around and collect all those and then put them onto a map so that the town accurately knows where they are and can report them. We talked about the records retention one already. That went in. Another project that we're looking, the thing is the Miles Square Road sidewalk. You may recall, the town received a grant from Monroe County to do a portion of sidewalks that extends on the east side of Miles Square Road from just north of Kingsbridge down to New York State Route 251. We did a preliminary paint mark out with the code enforcement officer, and we're going to continue to advance those through. We have submitted plans to Monroe County procurement contractor to get some additional pricing. And as soon as we get that, we'll forward it to your attention and rough schedule. In regard to other projects that we're working on or assisting the town, Stony Lonesome Road closure, we had a bunch of discussions in regard to that. Did hear back from the New York State DOT. They mentioned this would be the east leg of Stony Lonesome from 65 over. They mentioned that they would be willing to pay for or install the guide rails, so that would be a nice, huge expense that they would take on as part of their participation in the project. Again, that project needs additional clarification on whether it can be advanced or where it stands and different clarification from the New York State DOT on their committal to the project as well. So, still working through that with the town supervisor. Other items on our list is Mendon Green. We did get a contact from the developer looking for a reduction in his letter of credit, which we don't support for a number of reasons, and working on getting a meeting with them as well as the highway department. That's kind of the overview of the projects that we're working on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, any questions from the board, Tom?
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, it's on to town supervisor. First thing is the library. A lot of people have heard because it was announced that there's going to be an urgent care going in. They're going to tear down the old Diner. And, I just want to mention that, working with the mayor, a lot of attention has been paid to new design for the new building, not to be blocking the view of the library from the road. And we will be entering into an agreement to relocate the entrance into the parking lot, which the town would have to sign off on. But that looks to me like it would be a major advantage for the town. And I appreciate the consideration that the designers, engineers, and architects and the mayor have made in terms of listening to what people are saying about being concerned the building could have blocked the whole view of the library. So I think that was really an important piece, and everybody's following that requirement, or that ask, I should say, it was an ask, so. Potholes obviously is the big thing. You just heard a lot about that. I mean, I would just like to emphasize that the asphalt plants are just now opening, which is one of the reasons why potholes aren't really addressed. We're not technically allowed, although someone told me, and I don't know if it's true, maybe you can answer this, is that the state has available some asphalt for patching. Is there any truth to that? Because someone shared that with me in an email, and I'd never heard of that, so.
We call it cold patch.
Cold patch.
Yeah, you can use it year round. Yeah, through the winter.
That the state provides at no charge to the town? Okay.
No,
Okay,
but that
I think that was the
product is out
question,
there
yeah.
That they can use.
oh, the state, so the state uses it, or the town, they
The state
authorize,
should use.
yeah. But the state can authorize the town to use it at a cost? Oh, okay. So that clarifies that for me.
They have a product. They tell you they can't fill a pothole in winter time,
They can,
they can.
yeah. So, maybe we just need to ramp up our communication, that'd be my job, with the state, do what I can, still be nice and pleasant, friendly. But, yeah, I had a call a week ago Friday. There were two people at Miles Square Road with flat tires at the same exact time, same pothole.
Hmm.
So that's the one you went out and fixed. Thank you. Okay. So flooding is another topic of conversation. We just heard about that there's minimal damage to our town, no damage to our town, just some inconvenience. We do have some serious flood areas. I did talk with Tom about there seems to be some grant money out there for mitigating flood areas. So we're talking a little bit about that too, and seeing if we can grab some of that money to at least study the situation and find out if there's any solutions that we can offer or enact. So Stony Lonesome, you've been hearing about this a lot for a long time, really trying to bring it to a close and get something done. There's been a lot of different ideas offered, and I have, I've really worked hard at trying to learn as much as I can about it. I've talked with a lot of different engineers, gotten a lot of information, and I hope to be putting all that together in writing tomorrow, everything that I have learned, and then sharing that with the board, and then we can make some final decisions here. Also, I tend to write the state and the county for our asks and see how they respond. Tom's already kind of set the stage for that, done some of that for us, so. Meetings, I met with the Blaze soccer team. They great people, they're all volunteers. They are looking forward to us getting the Semmel Road fields done. And of course, that's a couple years of process. So we got to finish building the extra fields. Then there has to be grass grown, the grass has to settle in before it can be used. So there's some issues there, but they are going to provide and pay for the bulldozer operations so that when we're bringing materials in, that we're spreading them, smoothing them out, and for us at no cost to the town. So that's another nice thing.
Blaze is paying for that?
Pardon me?
Blaze is paying for that?
Blaze is paying for that part, yeah. And let's see, I attended an Eagle Scout ceremony, which was really fun and interesting. The Legionnaires were there. It was a full house. You probably saw pictures of it on social media. The scouts were there and it was amazing. It really was great to hear all the wonderful things you scouts are doing for our town, the projects that you take on as you become Eagle Scouts. And I can't say enough. Thank you guys all enough, guys and girls. So thank you for your service to our town. Tomorrow's leaders right there. So, I attended a fire department dinner, which was their annual banquet. And at that dinner, I was able to do a proclamation for John Scheit, who is a longtime firefighter, carpenter, and this guy has done everything. And he's been an amazing public servant. Recognized him for 50 years of public service to our town, our fire department. And can't say enough good things about John. We're so lucky. We got this amazing fire department attendant, and they're still 100% volunteer, which is a nearly impossible thing to find today. You go over and look at all towns, they're having to hire, pay firefighters, and I got to give these guys a lot of credit. They've got an amazing fundraising arm they just built a new building out back there for the carnival. They're putting a new roof on. They're converting to solar on the roof of the fire department to offset these astronomical electric bills. Can't say enough good things about the Mendon Fire Department. Really a wonderful group of people that are so dedicated to our town and serving the town. So we owe them some gratitude. And let's see. The only other thing I've been so busy with is reading. We've got all these manuals. There's just a lot of reading to do. So in any spare time I get, I try getting caught up with what the material on a lot of these manuals and learning the job. It's a really long time to learn this job, what I'm finding out. But a lot of hard work. It's 7 days a week, and I love it. Glad to be doing it. So that's it for my report. I'll turn. If anything.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just a couple updates. Our office is working with Tom on the Miles Square sidewalk project, just providing legal support as necessary. This month, we have been able to do some policy review with members of the board and provided some input. And one of the policies will be discussed later in the meeting. And then we did assist with the settlement of an old personnel matter, which is currently in litigation and will be addressed later in the meeting as well.
Thank you. Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, we'll move on to approve, make a motion to approve the March 2000, you want to do that? Approve the 2026 town clerk's report in the amount of $58,955.84.
I will second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. I'll make a motion to approve that. Well, someone else should do this.
I move to approve the February 2026 Town Supervisors Report.
One second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
I move to approve the March 2026 Town Supervisors Report.
Second,
A second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. The minutes for March 9th meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the March 9th, 2026 town board meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
I had some amendments that I provided earlier to the minutes. You guys hopefully had a chance to look them over. If you're comfortable with those, we can just get them added in.
I've no concern with the addition. I think it provides a little bit additional background information on the discussion that occurred.
Yeah, just a little context and some of the discussion we had around some resolutions.
Okay. Okay,
Fine with it? Okay.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Budget transfer. Resolved to amend the town's 2026 budget by increasing appropriation account DB 5110.2, general repairs dash equipment in the amount of $155,244 with source funding DB 879 equipment reserve for the loader that was purchased by Highway Department in 2025, but not received until 2026.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? I'll just add for the public, we try to time purchases, according to our budget and also to replace equipment as needed at the best possible time to get the most money for that used equipment and cost us the least to update the new equipment, which benefits everyone in town. It's a good, healthy plan. Use a similar plan for school buses, the school board. I just wanted people to be aware of that.
Was this already budgeted? Like this was in our budget? It's
Yeah.
already in there?
Yeah,
There's-
fund's
Okay,
already
we're just
there.
moving it to where it needs to be to pay. Okay,
It's really just an approval of the accounting.
got it.
Did I ask for all in favor?
Not yet.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Abstracts?
All right, I move to approve all claims on vouchers numbered 161 to 176 on general abstract 26-04A in the amount of $45,278.19.
Okay, second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Abstract Keith.
I'll make a motion to approve all claims and vouchers numbered 177 to 224, the general abstract 26-4B, the amount of $74,363.38.
Second,
I'll second.
okay.
So I have a discussion point before we vote on that.
Okay.
That's okay. So
Thank you.
So there was one voucher from, I don't know the number of it, but from account Bravo 7510-4 in the amount of $276. It was missing a piece of background justification. It was missing a purchase order or a quote. Town attorney, can we provisionally approve that tonight? And then once that comes in, I can come in and sign it and get it paid?
With a condition.
Okay.
Yes, that is absolutely fine.
What would be the best wording for
Um,
approve all vouchers with and conditionally approve that one?
yes.
Okay.
And then I would be specific about what it is that you're looking for, so that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that you know that you
Yeah.
have the authority to go ahead and approve it. So that, we receive all necessary.
Yeah, so I would adjust the motion to approve all claims on vouchers numbered 177 to 224 on general abstract 26-4B in the amount of $74,363.38 and conditionally approve the voucher to Diane Ham from account B7510.4 in the amount of $276 until we receive a quote for a purchase order and have that finally signed.
There's been a practice where she basically fills out a voucher and submits that for payment. The requirement is to have an actual bill, right?
A documentation of
So
those.
just a documentation along with the voucher. So that's all this is asking for. It's fairly simple.
And we can talk later about
Okay,
what.
all in favor?
Well, wait,
As
Any other?
as rewritten?
Did we get a second on the
I thought we did, because then we went to
Yes.
discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all in favor?
Any other discussion?
Oh, question?
Was that other voucher? You said that was removed.
RG&E.
The RG&E one.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not, that was not in the packet whenever I got it, so I believe that has already been removed.
That was a prepaid, it was already paid, but it was only approved by Jeff.
So it will have to go to next month's vouchers.
Our diligence, board caught it. Caught me.
So
But,
that's voucher 176
that's
then. That was
The voucher from RG&E on, prepays on A.
Yep.
For 4,000.
$4.40.
Yeah, it wasn't correct, I don't believe, or something, the addition wasn't added. in or something.
What it was is the amount was there. Then if you open the page all the way, you can see tucked up in the corner, it had the new amount that was due. But so it just was the way the voucher was laid out. It was just a simple thing, and that was rectified by the system working. Great. So it's all set now. Okay, with the program. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for all that.
All right, I move to approve all claims on vouchers numbered 074 to 102 on Highway Abstract 26-4 in the amount of $112,594.31.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Library,
So
library editor.
we might need to modify a little bit, because I don't think we actually approved the vouchers for the library, unless something's changed. It's
Correct.
just an
You have to
acknowledgement.
mention that you paid.
Yeah.
Kim and I reviewed the library abstracts, found them in order.
Tom.
Tom and I, sorry. Very easily confused.
Yeah, like so much alike.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that require approval?
It does not.
Nope, we just note.
Same with the abstract B?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So, abstract B is to approve all claims on library vouchers number 42 through 53 on library abstract 2026-4B in the amount of $5,032.91. Next up is a declaration of surplus by the highway department. Want to be honest?
I'll make a motion to declare the following surplus and authorize its disposition via auction at RTI auctions as laid out in the agenda.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. Court audit acknowledgement.
I move to acknowledge that I, Ann Tanner, Chief, conducted the required audit of the town of Mendon's court records for the fiscal year of 2025 on March 18th and March 23rd. The board further directed that this resolution be forwarded to the Unified Court Systems Division of the Internal Audit Services, complying with section 2019-A of the Uniform Justice Board Act.
I will second.
Hey, any discussion?
Thank you both for that hard work,
Yes.
doing all of it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. All you young people out there, so you're getting firsthand knowledge on what it takes to run a town. I mean, all this money has to change hands. We all here have a responsibility to the people of this town, to spend their money in a diligent way that they approve of. So that's what this is. It might seem kind of boring talking about some of these things. It's very serious work. So I just wanted to share that. Buildings Department. Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of a Canon Image Prograph TX 4200 MFP Z36 with basket for the Buildings Department from Higher Information Group to be paid from account D3620.4. Purchase price not to exceed $19,000. from B 3620.4. As per the procurement policy, 3 written quotes have been provided in the supporting documentation. This equipment is provided for from a grant.
It's not for free. We had to purchase this as, it was like our good faith to the people, to the grant people that we would continue the scanning of all of our stuff. So
So
just
this is
that
our,
last
this
line.
is our commitment to.
Yes.
I didn't see the quotes.
Okay, but thank you for that, correction.
I don't know if I remember seeing the quotes.
They were on the website. Yeah.
Oh, those are them?
Colored, it's the
Oh,
colored
that
piece
one,
of paper.
Oh, okay, I
That's
didn't
it.
see that.
And
Okay.
it's the last line, I think there is all for the piece of equipment. There's this one, right? One of them, yeah. There should be 3 quotes.
Yeah,
highlighted.
I did look at
Yeah.
that.
this-
Yeah.
yes, okay. Okay, any discussion, any further, wait, I need a motion to approve.
Wait a second.
You need a
A second.
second, I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion, further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Highway Department Super Cab.
I'll make motion, authorize the purchase for the 2026 F-550 Super Cab four-wheel drive from Van Borel Ford for the Highway Department, the amount not to exceed $98,548.83 per Onondaga bid number 00111171, to be paid from account DB 5110.2. As per the procurement policy, 3 written quotes have been provided in the supporting documentation.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Laborer. A motion was, a motion to authorize an amendment to the laborer salary to a range of $18 to $32.55 to align with the buildings and grounds rates. This is just a clarification. We hire additional people in the summertime, seasonal help, and it's just a clarification to a range as opposed to just one price. So we're basically going from one person in the buildings and grounds to 2 people. So at this point, so it's just to clarify that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Removed. Any opposed? Labor new hire, to authorize the hire of Riley Kester as a full-time seasonal labor at rate of $26 an hour to be paid from account A 1620.1. He will report to Kevin Jungi from Buildings and Grounds. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. I move to approve dog warden Kevin Jungi's attendance at the 2026 Webster Dog Control Educational Seminar at 1051 Gravel Road in Webster on May 6th and 7th at a cost of $160, paid from account A3510-4. Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Attendance at town,
Yeah, so I move to approve the town supervisor, Joe Bellotti, and the bookkeeper, Janet Way's attendance at the 2026 Town Finance and Personnel School at 205 Lakeshore Drive, Canandaigua, New York, on April 27th and 28th, 2026, at a total cost not to exceed $500 to be paid from account A1220.4.
second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Engagement with Verigy. This is to allow the town of Mendon to engage in a non-binding contract with Verigy Limited, in which they will conduct site visits to perform extensive evaluation of our buildings and properties to assess energy efficiency, decarbonization, and sustainability measures. This will culminate with a report to the town that offers a plan to lower our costs and help us become more energy efficient. There is no cost to the town of Mendon, and the town will be under no obligation to participate further. Wait a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. So this audit report, is it going to be one that can be used towards the Climate Smart Task Force with getting our points that we can obtain? Because I know at our meeting last Tuesday, there are two other companies like NYSERDA and Flex Tech program that would do these also probably with a grant.
This is a very astute comment on your part, because it's true that the Climate Smart does not align perfectly with Verigy, the Verigy report. However, this report is free and we're under no obligation. So we can use this report, whether we enter into business with Verigy or not. We can use this report. There's other companies that do similar things. You just mentioned some of the agencies that help with this, that we can work with also on this, and we can compare. And I think it's nothing but good information for us to have in order to help make decisions that can improve energy costs, sustainability for our town. Any other questions?
So this was one that we talked about, or I talked about extensively at the Association of Town events in February.
It is.
Had an opportunity to talk through some of the reports they provide, and they go through everything from heating recommendations to repair versus replace some of your electronics components, and then provide a payback report that forecasts, okay, if you do this, here's the cost, here's the payback, and have a really good overall picture of what your energy efficiency means, not necessarily from a climate, not just from a climate smart perspective, but from a energy's not getting any cheaper, and from a fiscal responsibility perspective.
I'll add that anytime you hear something's free, you have to wonder. So I did have our attorney check the agreement that requires my signature. This is to approve that I can sign this agreement. So she did check it out. We're under no obligation whatsoever. You know, we benefit from this. So
What's the agreement that you signed? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
it's in the package.
Missed that, I'm sorry.
As a supervisor, if I may.
You may.
So there actually was a recent change to the New York State level law that allows these kind of energy audits to happen without having to go through a procurement process. It has to be free to the town, and there has to be no obligation to the town going forward. Basically, it's just going to be recommendations. And they can assist later on with RFPs or RFQs for discrete projects that they may recommend. But again, you're under no obligation to do this. And I would just add too, that some of the projects that they may suggest that you do likely would count for climate smart communities, even if the audit itself doesn't, because they're not approved.
As long as there's no obligation and it's not costing us anything, I don't see why we do it.
Okay, first.
I think we can vote.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
You want to do this one,
Yeah,
Rebecca?
we're back on
Oh, yeah, sorry.
number 21.
Okay. So, it's kind of long. I won't read it all, but the town supervisor previously determined it was appropriate to create a climate smart community task force to assist the town board in identifying, reviewing, recommending, and documenting actions that promote environmental sustainability, climate resilience, and energy efficiency within the town of Mendon. At a town board meeting on October 20th of 2025, the town board consented to the creation of the Climate Smart Community Task Force. Following a report by the Climate Smart Community Coordinator to the town supervisor, the town supervisor has determined it's appropriate to expand the Climate Smart Community Task Force from 9 to 11 voting members. And there's a one small update to this resolution language. It says made up of 10 voting members, say 11 voting members. So we'll have to update that. And one ex officio non-voting student representative. The 11 voting members will consist of 7 town residents. Must be 8 town residents, 2 town board members and 1 town employee. Additionally, the following individuals should be appointed to serve as town resident Climate Smart Community Task Force members: Stephen Barber, David McInnes, and Daniel Croft. And the following individuals should be appointed to serve as the town employee member of the task force: Corey Gates. I also want to add one more statement to this, so we'll have to amend this resolution. It says that the terms will expire December 31st, 2027. 2027.
That's the amendment.
That's the amendment.
Okay,
So I moved to expand the task force from 7 members to 11 members and appoint Stephen Barber, Dave McInnes, Daniel Croft, and Corey Gates terms to expire on December 31st, 2027.
do we have a second? Okay, any discussion?
Yes. So I believe the previous board had approved 9 members.
Oh, didn't I?
And so we're gonna include these 3 other individuals who, they're all qualified. I'm not disputing any of that, but I just feel like that we should just stick with the 9 and not increase it.
There was a lot of, and I know you weren't there
I know.
for
And I said.
the meeting.
But I just want to state that I don't approve of it, but.
Okay, there was a lot of discussion among the task force itself and a vote on, the pros and cons of keeping it as it was to bumping it up a couple more. And ultimately, the majority of the group decided bumping it up. So you're right, it was not 7 to 11, 9 to 11. We just didn't, we were still missing. Yep. Member. So.
I just discussion, I would just like to add that it's been my experience that you don't say no to people that want to volunteer, especially when they're really smart people and can bring something to the table. But because it just, there's a lot of benefits to this. By getting more people involved, more word gets out to the public, more information, it goes out to the public about what we're doing with Climate Smart thing. I just think it's a win-win all the way around. It might be a little bit more management time, but I think given the caliber of the people involved here, I think it's a good move. The other thing I want to say to all you Boy Scouts out there is people don't always have to agree. It doesn't mean we go to war. It means we express our points of view, and then we all decide which way we want to go and we vote on it. And that's something America was built on. So it doesn't have to come to blows. It doesn't have to come to fighting and putting other people down. It's a civil way of getting work done, and then that benefits our whole town. So I wanted to share that with you.
Before we vote, Kim, do you want to elaborate any more on like what worries you?
I just feel that when there's more members in a committee, it makes it more difficult
Yeah.
to get the task completed. That's all.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was raised a few different times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Nay. Nay.
So noted. Measure is approved. Okay, adoption of town amended facility use policy. This is gonna be a lively. discussion.
So
It is.
I move to adopt the Town of Minden facility use policy as described in the agenda.
We have a second?
I'll second.
I would like to table it.
Okay, any discussion first?
Well,
That's part
Let's,
of it.
let's
the
discuss
town
it.
owned, the highway department of 6 buildings. They've never even seen this.
Oh,
I didn't see it till Saturday.
okay.
There's conflicting things in here with the employee handbook.
And actually, we don't have any history. I have no idea why we're doing this. But if we do this, I know the library has therapy dogs that come in, and if we're banning dogs from buildings,
We're not banning all dogs, it's those.
The therapy dogs are not ADA dogs.
they're not ADA dogs. We have therapy dogs that come into school. They're not ADA dogs.
Okay,
And then we host a rabies clinic at the community center a couple times a year.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect? And from what I'm gathering, it obviously pertained to a personnel, but instead of enacting a new policy, why don't we address it in the employee handbook and not make this a policy that's affecting all of our buildings?
good thought.
We did originally, like going through the policies manual, there is a policy for each different property, each different facility.
Right.
And I think we just need I kind of agree that maybe we just need a little bit more time to think through whether this should apply across the board to all facilities or just, or
Maybe if we had more information on what happened, the incident, then we could determine, but I would not vote in favor.
is it about like, there was an
It's
incident?
a personnel issue. so
It's a
we can't talk
personnel
about it
issue.
publicly.
Okay.
Or dog incidents. And that should be reported by the dog control officer. But he didn't know anything about it
He
either,
was
so
called in on it.
that's
It was,
strange to me.
well, it was very minor situation, but,
So if it's a minor situation, why are we enacting a new
because
policy?
it could have been a more serious situation.
Okay.
It wasn't, but it could have been, so.
I think conceptually, I would be in favor of having a facility use policy that enables, we have community center where we have youths, we have a library, we have a lot of residents and visitors coming in and out of our facilities. I'm in favor in general of having a facility use document that the leaders in those buildings can refer back to, and if there is an instance and they need to have somebody removed, for example. Also agree would be good to table this, refine it a little bit, talk through. I know I had some concerns around the ADA language and ADA actions that can be taken under the facility use document.
Yeah, after it was developed, I also, people come in to buy their dog licenses,
Yeah.
sometimes bring their dogs on a
We
leash.
make a lot of dogs mad. But
So, yeah, I agree. We can, make a motion to table this till further discussion.
Okay.
A second,
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Could I ask a quick question before we move on?
Yeah.
To Megan.
Yes.
What's a typical procedure for updating policies? Like what's the workflow there?
It varies from
Okay.
municipality to municipality. Things that I've seen work well would be if there's one person maybe in charge of one particular policy and someone else in charge of another, kind of go through it, make recommendations to the whole group. Often work sessions are helpful for that, so second meeting during the month for the town board where they're just an open meeting, so anyone can come.
Mhm.
And you can have those conversations about, okay, I'm in charge of the employee handbook, I'm in charge of the facility use policy, how do those work together? So you can have those kind of comprehensive conversations.
Okay, so I like that idea. Assign someone or a pair of people to a policy. We prioritize which ones are most important. And then have working sessions to talk through recommendations. Like that,
I just wanna say, it's
yeah,
up to the board.
yeah,
Just
sure,
Stating a suggestion.
thanks.
Sure.
On to number 23, I believe. Yeah. So procurement policy. I can read it. The motion to amend the current procurement policy, increasing all estimated amounts of purchase by 20% across the board. The issue is the current procurement policy is not kept up with price increases. So therefore, we need to increase it to stop, to prevent people from actually getting their work done. The highway department, they have to order parts every single day, and the policy, the way it is with the amount of money, gets in the way and prohibits them from actually getting their work done. So given the fact that prices have increased considerably in the last, since this procurement policy was made.
Can we get a second? Talk too much.
I'm sorry.
We need a second.
I will
I'm sorry.
second.
Thank you for correcting.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so that's the reasoning behind this. It's to be able to enable the highway department mechanics in particular, but also everybody, because this procurement policy affects everybody here. And the decisions they can and cannot make. So our hands are tied if the dollar amount that we can authorize is not commensurate with increases in prices, from our vendors.
So I know Megan brought this up when we were looking at the procurement policy last month, that you thought we should reevaluate those thresholds. Does a 20% increase seem reasonable to you? Are you?
It's in line with what I've seen from other municipalities. I would actually defer to the subject matter experts, people who are using the policy, to see if it's actually going to have like a material effect on how they go about purchasing.
Yeah.
It definitely does. 20% is in line with, as we say, with cost of living, materials costs, product costs and everything else. There's also a question about, he asked about, getting to both votes and getting to votes within a couple of those parameters versus.
But that's not part of it.
It is.
It is, the language was changed to indicate that. I didn't read that part, but
Yeah, because normally for the 2,004,999, it's 2 written quotations and you're asking for 2 verbal.
How's that fit within what you've seen? For the $2,000 to $5,000 thresholds, right now the policy says 2 written quotations with town supervisor or highway superintendent approval. And I think the request is 2 verbal.
So I've seen municipalities do it both ways.
Okay.
For ones that allow the verbal quotations, they've actually got a form that someone has to fill out that would give the same information as if it were coming from the person providing the quote, so that it can be double checked. So if in fact you were going to go to verbal quotes, I would just suggest thinking about some sort of a form if you don't have one already.
This was kind of gonna fall in line with regular purchases that we make. It's only whether it's tires or whatever, that's, some of the stuff is the government bid, so a lot of the stuff is not. So, cutting edges for the plows and stuff like that are reoccurring purchases, but, it's, which we do check on, or before we order, Carter and myself, we do get an estimate or a quote, or, for tire costs, for the casing credit, for all that kind of stuff, so it's.
If you'll be still filling out a form, even though they're verbal quotes.
yes.
Mm.
And I want
But
to add
there's
that,
just sometimes a time sequence where, something breaks down.
right,
They had put a couple of times this winter, we had breakdowns and to wait to go through a quoting process, it's bad. you need the stuff today.
You've
can't
gotta wait for
You
vendors
can't
to
wait
call you
3 or
back.
4 days. Right.
So, couple things, I can read this from Carter, this, the head mechanic, Carter Whitmore. He wrote this to the board. Members of the town board, while you are reviewing the current procurement policy, bring your attention to the pressing need for an increase due to the rising cost of parts, materials, and essential supplies required to properly maintain and repair our fleet and equipment. Additionally, I recommend changing the requirement from obtaining 2 written quotes to accepting 2 verbal quotes for parts that are challenging to compare, such as snowplow cutting edges. These rising costs and procurement challenges have made it increasingly difficult to perform necessary repairs in a timely and efficient manner while remaining with the existing procurement limits. Delays in the procurement process can directly impact the department's ability to respond effectively to road maintenance needs, weather events, and emergencies. Ensuring our equipment is operational and reliable is essential to maintaining public safety and providing consistent service to our community. With this letter, you will find 2 quotes for a plow cutting edges, a quote for 2 steer tires and 10-wheel dump truck, and a quote for 4 drive tires for a 10-wheel dump truck. These quotes illustrate the financial challenges we are facing. In light of these considerations, I recommend at least a 20% increase in the procurement policy thresholds and a change from requiring 2 written quotes to accepting 2 verbal quotes. Thank you for your time and consideration in the matter, as well as your continued support of the Highway Department, Carter Whitmore. I think that explains things really well, and given the fact that a supervisor has to approve of the voucher, and then it comes over to town hall, and I have to approve the voucher, and then 2 town board members have to approve the voucher, I think we have enough protection. And if there's a form that you or Carter or whoever has to fill out indicating who gave them the quote, and it's crystal clear, and how to contact that person, I think it's something we should do.
How is it determined if the item is specialized, variable in nature, difficult to compare, or would cause an undue delay in procurement?
It comes up every day.
Based on
doesn't it?
experience.
It comes up,
Yeah, it's hard to define exactly.
Yeah.
It can be from, not to say that it's not some olds, but it can be, we ran into this with hydraulic pumps and stuff like that, where, certain manufacturer, like for a double drum roller, they require 6,500 PSI hose versus a standard in the industry that's 6,000. Well, then, there's a cost, and there's, certain variables, along those lines. So there's also, to your point, there's some of the stuff you can plan ahead for and have parts on the shelf, but we got a lot of equipment and they can't stock everything type thing, so the parts guys show up every day. Damper, wherever it is,
And then
So
there's
this-
also back ordered parts and things like that you run into. And so now you're making countless phone calls just to find the part
right,
to get the truck up and running.
yeah.
So this procurement policy was updated in 2024. Like, I have no issue with increasing the thresholds. I feel like have, it's been ingrained in me, like you get the quotes, $6,000 is a lot of money for the town. Like, has something changed since the update?
In perspective, we ordered a truck in 2023. We just put it in service 2 years ago. The cost of a truck, $6,000 it's not pocket money, but it's, you're looking at $300,000 for a truck. So, everything is graduated here. It's
The way things are going, these numbers may be outdated in here,
Right.
so.
the price of fuel went up $1.12 in a matter of 2 weeks. So it's
And luckily, good planning is allowed for that situation.
Do we have,
Like it,
do we have the form that you would fill out? Is it the same form that you've been filling out, or do we need to create a new one?
So, not to give you a hard time, Pete, but, our role here is to be cost effective manner with maintaining our quality
Right.
standards and to make sure we're following the appropriate accounting of purchases and to ensure that we're not exceeding the budget limits. But I do understand the cost of everything going up and what it takes to get those quotes. So I would be okay with updating the changes. I appreciate Carter sending the letter and explaining the reason why. And you being here to support that.
I'm in favor in concept. My question is 20% the right number? Looking through the vouchers. In practice, there's not that big of a difference between 250, $250 and $300 or $19,999
Right.
and $2,400.
Let's
So
look at-
is
let's pick
25%? Well, no, that's-
Not particularly much, but I
and
understand your point.
Yeah, but would it be worth going through and instead of doing it across the board, look and say, okay, well, maybe the thresholds need to be, maybe the $250 is okay where it is for somebody to go direct purchase something, but once we start getting to the supervisor, maybe that one's, 25%.
I think 20% is a good place to start right now. I think as we get further into the year, and we get more into budget talks, I think, plus it's gonna give us more time.
Yeah,
The cost of everything, in the last 3 months has, changed significantly as far as, just operating costs. So
Yeah.
I think as we get closer to budget time, I think we'll have a better grasp on that, whether, where we can build in those numbers.
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of where we're at right now. So
yeah, I mean, I would be okay
I
with
think
that approach.
I think it's fair to point out, I think 20% is a fair range right now. So,
Yeah.
it's, it's kind of necessary,
Yeah.
so it's, for, timing and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly want to empower the highway department to be able to go and buy a hydraulic hose if one pops, so.
Right.
So if we do this, it looks like we would need to also update in the procurement policy, item number 4, which says purchases greater than 5,000 are subject to pre-approval by the town board. Would that get moved up as well to 6,000?
Sounds like we would have to. I did, I think if we added that language in there, but.
And then the procurement policy section 1 for the limits on competitive bidding for purchase contracts and
Right.
public works. Is the intent to increase that 20% as well?
Yes.
I don't know the answer to that, because that's, yeah, that's, certified things.
This is general.
120, okay, yeah.
So the $35,000 is
It's statutory.
I was
right?
gonna say, I
Right.
think that's general.
Right, so that would stick the same.
Yeah.
And of course, those are vendors too. We're talking about vendors that have already been pre-approved by the
Right.
state and giving the lowest price.
That would be, we'd still have the parameters to purchasing through OGS in order to with their guidelines and stuff like that. So, I think what we're kind of looking forward for this procurement is kind of like the day-to-day purchases, not necessarily the long-term equipment purchase.
Yeah.
Areas.
The cost of parts to your department on a daily basis, let's say a range of, the most cheapest part is $5 and the most expensive is 2,000. Is there a range? Thank you.
So this would be the only one this month impacted by the policy change.
Okay. A month.
Which is why I was asking, is 20% the right, is it
Right.
is it the right number to change, or are we gonna change it and still have the same challenges that we have today?
If
that's
we
a good
need every
number.
month, I guess.
Add it to the 20%.
I don't, I don't know how to make it, if I can forecast it,
Right.
I'd be a genius.
But his point is though, only one item on here
Right,
was affected by the change in the policy, so that's not their part.
right.
So,
Why don't we start with what they recommended and see how it goes? And then
and adjust it if we need to. If your hands are still tied, and you can't operate, you need to know that.
So I might recommend it different approach and table it for next month. I'll happily meet with the highway department, go through some of the old vouchers. Look at what the impact would be if we change it 15%, 20%, 25%. Have a red line of the current procurement policy that we can hand out to the board. That way, we know exactly what numbers are changing. And I can meet with you and your team over the next 2 weeks. Draft that up and I will send it out to the board. Is that?
Sounds great. I like it.
Thank you.
So we,
We
we're table.
will.
Should we table it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
No second.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Sentinel letter.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the publication of a letter to the editor in the Sentinel newspaper. As well as publication on the town website and social media pages. I'm not gonna read all of this, but it's really to just provide additional context and information about the Community Engagement Advisory Committee to the community and internal folks as well, who might benefit from understanding what we're trying to do. The letter is included in the agenda. Hopefully you've all had an opportunity to read it. If I'll stop there. So the motion is to publish this letter as a letter to the editor in the Sentinel and authorize, it didn't get in there. Yes, it did. And authorize spending $100 to publish it. I think that's enough.
I don't think we have to pay, but.
We don't have to pay for that?
Do we have
Okay.
a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
So discussion, I don't think we have to pay for a letter to the editor, but
So far now, we've only got 3 individuals that have shown interest.
No, there's 5 or 6 who've shown interest.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I've only seen 3 letters.
So who
I sent her names of people that reached out to me, did not send a letter, but they reached out to me in an email. I forwarded
Yeah,
it.
and part of the problem is, I just don't think we were advertised enough for it. We did put it on the Facebook page, and it only went out in the Sentinel once, the ad. I was hoping it would go out twice, to call for letters of interest. So I'm hoping that just a little bit more context, and more advertisement will
I
drive
think the
some more
context
interest.
would be good. I think people
Yeah.
don't really understand what the committee's about. I think your letter to the editor really explains that very well. So,
I don't know why we need a resolution for a letter to the editor.
I didn't know if we did or not, so I think it's because it's coming from the board.
I am going to make another comment,
Yeah,
which I've already shared previously.
yeah,
Every meeting about this. I have a concern about the purpose to help the board share information in ways that are easier to access and understand. I feel like that is the role of us as the town board. And if we're doing that, we're giving up our responsibility and we're sharing that information, or we're asking this committee to kind of take over some of our responsibility. But
I don't see it
I
that
don't
way at all.
see that. It's making recommendations for how we can do better.
Okay.
Not that what we're doing now is broken. It's just like, what are the ways in which we can do better? And if we have a committee that's composed of all different voices, then we can feel better that the recommendations coming to us are balanced, right?
I don't recall, did we set a member limit on that, or is that just?
It's five voting members, but they would presumably do a little bit of engagement themselves. If they don't have to, that would be part of what they decide among themselves and how they operate. But yeah, they would make recommendations to us on how to do better, balanced voices in the community. And then we would act on them.
So you've already had 5 people interested, right?
Yeah, but again, we want balanced voices. So we have to make sure that
They're
they're,
just not the voices you wanted, so I don't get, like, you want, like, like a man, a woman, or, like, I don't understand the difference in.
Well, we want to get in as more letters of interest, but yeah, you could think of it that way. And I think I put it in the, Megan, you have a look.
Yeah, I maybe we can take this table this and take this discussion offline.
Okay. Yeah, balanced voices. I don't have anybody like presupposed in my mind, who it would be, just I know
I
representative.
just think you're got your, if you got enough people or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we have to do interviews like with the hiring policy also, so. We have to go through that as
And the
well.
whole board is doing that?
The whole board doesn't typically interview candidates, do they?
Typically the chair of the committee. Really candidates, but I can also
Yeah.
appoint people, once the committee is established by the board, I can just appoint people. To that board, so, committee members, but again, I want to reiterate, same as with the, Clean Smart Committee. I think I know there's a management issue sometimes, but having more voices at the table is a benefit. I've explained that in writing before, but, I think it's a benefit, so.
If there's not an expense for a letter to the editor, I don't see any downside of publishing it.
Well-
If it's coming from the town
Yeah.
board, we need a resolution that everyone approves of the
Right.
language that's being
Right.
used because it's being.
But it's
Right.
signed to Rebecca Cruiser, meant
Oh.
town board, not the town board.
No, it's not signed, it's just, oh yeah, it is. We can either, we can either sign it the town board, or I can just sign it myself, or I don't know who the right person to sign it is.
The resolution is, you can send a letter to the editor with your name on it anytime you want. The resolution is the board agreeing to put their name,
Yeah.
here's name on that letter or not? That's the resolution.
Because I think of you say we're not one member, we're all five of
We're
us.
five.
So
We're
like
number five.
if I say something,
Right.
as a
You-
town board member, am I speaking for all of us regardless of whether my name is at the bottom?
Technically should not, am I correct, Megan, that we're a one unit?
If you are saying that the town board does this,
Mm-hmm.
then you should get everyone's buy-in.
Right,
on the
so it
exact
should
language.
include Tom, Kim, Rebecca, Tanner, and Joe on that letter to the
But
editor.
if you're speaking as an individual board member, you do have that right to. This is my personal opinion as a single board member. That is totally allowable. It's free speech right now. So, and it's your legislative prerogative.
And if there's language within the body of the letter that suggests that I'm speaking, if you like, you don't want your name, right? That suggests that it's speaking as coming from the whole board, I could probably modify the language so that it's clearer.
Says the town board, we did establish, so we did that as a board, I don't have a problem with that.
Might I suggest that, rather than table the resolution, and that any board members here that would like their name on the letter, say so, and the letter can go out from those board members. I mean, or it can be just sent in individually by you. So, I mean, that, it doesn't put, it doesn't show, it isn't divisive that way.
I don't think we would table, I think we reject the resolution if we do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So I didn't hear, what was the,
So if you want to submit it as it is, as Rebecca Cruiser, been the town board member, we would withdraw the resolution.
Yeah.
You could submit
And
it
then you just
as a,
letter to the editor.
letter from you as amended board member.
okay. Or who, that's what you vote for? So what's the resolution, for me to submit it?
No resolution.
Resolution.
You're gonna submit
Okay,
it.
all right,
Withdraw the right.
Okay.
Proposed resolution.
all right,
I move to withdraw the resolution, Community Engagement Advisory Committee resolution.
I'll second.
All in favor?
all right,
Any opposed?
I'll do my thing.
Almost done, folks.
We lost all the scouts.
It's a long one.
Let's see, at the idea, some fun get that.
Okay.
Sorry. that way it was- it was order.
Where are we? We're at 25.
Oh,
Discussion of-
annual-
Oh, I think we already did that.
discussion, yeah, okay, so this is the last resolution.
Yes.
It is. So yes.
All right, so thank you, Mr. Supervisor. With your permission, I would like to suggest some language with regard to the settlement of that personnel matter for the town board's consideration. I'm happy to read the language if someone wants to make the motion afterwards and second it. So it would be whereas on or about August 2nd, 2024, a former town employee filed a complaint with the New York State Division of Human Rights alleging that the town engaged in certain illegal acts during the time of this person's employment. And whereas the town denies that it has engaged in any wrongdoing. And whereas the town board is authorized to settle any action upon such terms as the town board determines are just, reasonable, and to the interest of the town pursuant to town law section 68(4). And whereas the town board desires to enter into a settlement agreement with the former employee to dispose of the matter. And whereas the settlement agreement will not require the town to admit any wrongdoing. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board determines the terms of the agreement are just, reasonable, and to the interest of the town. And be it further resolved, that the town board authorizes the supervisor to execute all documents necessary to effectuate the agreement. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
I'll second this.
So moved.
Okay. Any
And I'll second.
discussion further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Some discussion on manual updates and public communications. We've been talking about manual updates for several months now. What I wanted to bring everyone's attention to is the fact that we have many outdated manuals. Employee handbook, there's 2 or 3 versions. Different dates, the town position descriptions need to be updated. The town disaster plan has not been updated. The town comprehensive plan is over 5 years old. So these are works that take an enormous amount of time to do. And I don't believe that the board can tackle all of these things at the same time. I have taken some measures I want to share with you all regarding the employee handbook. We just contracted with a new payroll company. They have versions of employee handbooks that I asked them to forward that to us. And that way we could compare that to the current manual we have. I also asked how much would it cost if they were to do that work for us. In other words, merge our existing with a legally updated version. And they came back and said they would assist with that and integrate the 2 manuals at no cost. So I asked her to clarify that. She said it again. So no cost. So apparently the thousands we're saving is buying a lot more for our money. So I think that's one way to tackle the employee manual. Of course, it would have to be approved by the board. So whatever they come up with, good, bad, or different, we still have to stamp it approved, right? The other item that the town position descriptions that, that they exist. Some of them are very old. They need to be updated. There's no question of that. That would probably be the easiest of all these tasks. Well, outside of having someone else do it for you. So this would be the second easiest. And then the town disaster plan. On Friday, I'm actually meeting with a group that is training me in exactly this. They probably have a written plan that is sort of a generic plan for all towns. I actually emailed and asked that question today. I didn't get a reply yet, or I would be sharing that with you. But, it sounds like they already have information, this group that is, it's from Monroe County, and they're offering this training. So, I think it would pay to be in line with what Monroe County says, we should be doing, so.
Well, and the bulk of that disaster plan was actually Monroe County, plans and language.
Right.
There's like many appendices. What was that? By who?
Written by me, my.
Oh,
Is it really? Oh, yeah, that's right, you told me that, I think you told me.
I didn't know
Well,
that.
maybe
Yeah.
you told me that. But, yeah, it definitely needs to be updated. So let's see what I learn on Friday, and I could bring that information back to the next month's meeting, and we can decide on that. And then I think the rest of this is, I don't think we can do all of them at once. So I offered a couple of solutions to getting some of them done, and then the comprehensive plan too. How do we rank these in order? And I think we should rank them in order of importance, and then decide who, how, and when we're gonna do this.
So if I were to rank them, I know Michelle spent a significant amount of time and effort on the employee handbook. I think that's probably the highest, most near-term priority, in my opinion. The second, to me, would be the disaster plan. The third one, based on difficulty, expected difficulty, would be the town position descriptions. And then the comprehensive plan, I really think that we need to budget and be very deliberate in how we approach that. So I think that we should identify what the budget would be required this year and include that in next year's budget and tackle it then.
The town positions, I'll tell you, really easy. Cause all you can take the descriptions from these on service.
Yeah.
And they're already all there, so just figure out which ones you need, print them out and have the town board approve them, that's your description.
Okay.
They're very easy, they're right there.
Some of the positions are civil service, but still that.
They still have a description and every position should be covered under.
Okay.
So I sent out a Excel workbook, I don't know, a few weeks ago, that kind of lists all of them out, the positions. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that? Yeah. So it included the boards and committees,
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
Are those civil?
When I
stuff?
saw that.
Those are too?
Oh, my God.
When you saw what?
When I saw that, that's a long list, and I go, oh my God, we gotta
Yeah.
rewrite all of every one of these positions, is,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the highway positions, those are all civil service, all of it? Okay.
so essentially, it could be just printing off the civil service job descriptions, is what you're saying.
So it was also not only the description, like in the committees, it had the language, like about the attendance, right? Like if you miss 20% of the meetings, then you're at risk for removal. I don't know if that's also civil service language or if that's our own language.
I don't know. Good
Yeah.
point.
I would say follow civil service, because either way, you gotta follow their procedure. If
Right.
it went any farther anyway.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a universal law in New York State about attendance policies, like. There's a law that allows the towns to develop their own. I don't think that there's a standard that's set. by
Yeah.
the state.
Okay, so that's
So
probably our own language.
I
then.
would imagine so, yes.
On the employee handbook, we have employee involvement in this, make a recommendation, the employees.
Well, we should. And,
I know when I was highway superintendent last year, there was 3 or 4 sections that the employees brought up. I think a little involvement, especially from the highway department.
Yeah.
Would be helpful. And I sat through 2 section 75 civil service hearings last year. And I pointed out 4 different places this employee was in violation of the handbook. And he looked at me and said, I've never seen it before. The very last page is acknowledgement page. When we get this all done, I'd like to have every employee have a new copy, sign it, it goes in the personal file.
Absolutely
I
agree.
think, Ken, you requested that, and I don't disagree with that. But, should we do it now? That was the question. Should we do that right now with antiquated manuals, or what are we asking them to sign if we don't even really agree?
The one you did, 2025. Can we see that? I've never seen that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean.
Anyone I've got-
I emailed it to all of you last week.
She sent, somebody sent it to us.
I sent it to all of you last
Yeah.
week. the one she
It's
did.
just not, everything's in there, I think, it's just not like formatted right, I don't like
Oh.
the bullet points all over, and it just looks messy, so that's why I didn't.
That's where, maybe getting them merged for free and then have a committee
Yeah,
of
they'll
town
do it for free.
employees.
Cause they'll make sure all the state law
Yeah,
language is
I-
in there.
I think that's an over, like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think
I'm
that should be our first priority.
And we'll create a committee of employees from different areas to take a look at it.
So we'll make sure
Task
we're
department.
civil service compliant, attorney approved,
Yeah,
yes.
and then it goes to
Why don't we
Ron.
do it For
town.
free, that's, how can they even do that?
Oh, we are paying.
We're paying, it's just included in that?
Okay, so we have a number one priority and number two would be position descriptions or disaster plan. Does everyone agree with that? And we may have some pretty official language to use after this coming Friday. You're gonna get that training. Get a response from those people. So that might be faster than we had hoped. And then the third would be town position descriptions, which we know we can get from civil service. And bind them together.
Yeah.
And ask for approval, right? So there's three right there. We have a plan. Then it reduces the amount of work for pretty much everybody. Shares the load quite a bit, so. All right, and discussion about the budget for town comprehensive plan that's, 5-6 years old now and definitely needs an update. Probably, but did everyone agree on?
It's our most current thing out of all of them.
Right, it's true, it is.
Yeah, they're right here, it's 2021,
Right, it is the most recent document.
so.
So
Well,
it is not using 2021 data throughout. It's still using a lot of the 2016 or 2017 data.
1816. The problem with the comprehensive plan, I'm not trying to be critical of anybody in any way. I think it paints a gorgeous picture of, a plan for the town. It's beautiful. But both in language and pictures, all of it. But there's no plan for implementing it. So that's what it's missing, is a plan. So we may agree that current comprehensive plan is okay. It maybe just needs a few updates and
Well,
then.
you can look at the population graphs, and if you were to look at the population graphs, the latest population data is from 2017, and Minden in 2026 is still rather different than post COVID than it was in 2017.
And there's other considerations with the village, recent approvals. Gonna be a little slight population uptick in the village, so we have a comprehensive plan has to reflect on that. Which is part of it, so. Anyway, so I think that's a good idea, is to consider that for next year and budget for it. Need a committee of people from the community, whatever. Okay, I think we worked that out. And the last thing I have on here, which for discussion, is a future public town hall meeting. Talked about that many times, but again, I think about it, and I think it'd be great, but at the same time. And then along with that, a townwide community survey. Something I thought about from the very beginning is, conducting extensive survey that would be available on social media, on our webpage, out there for at least a couple months. So a lot of people can participate in it, and we get direct feedback from people that live here and pay taxes here as to what it is they're looking for our town and our government to do for the town. So I think that would be a great idea to implement that. I don't know, it's open for discussion, so.
Yeah, I think Gary Luke, I forget if it was the February or March meeting, but I think you had a very astute comment, said something along the lines of, what does Minden want to be whenever we grow up? Like, we want a lot of different services, and if we don't want to increase population density, and if we don't want, I believe you used Henrietta as the example, we don't want businesses to come in to expand our tax base that way, then we have to just, we have to make the determination of what what does our revenue look like versus expenditures? And I think that that's really critical information that I'd love to have from the town is what do we want our population density to look like? What do we want our zoning to look like?
Good point. Okay. We are to our public comments. Any public comments? Okay.
Sorry, are we gonna fight over the?
Ladies first.
Very fast. I'm
Ladies first.
Lauren Smith, 235 Bowden Hill Road. Two of the concerns that I had as I was listening to this meeting is, the sidewalk plan, which, currently sounds like it's only going to go from, and I know you can't comment, from Cambridge to Route 251. And I am pretty sure previously there had been plans to connect the hamlets. So, I'm just concerned at where those plans actually went. I do understand that this one small portion was started because the state gave us a grant and told us that that was where we needed to start. But I was always very favorable that the hamlet was going to be connected and that the walking ability of the residents into the hamlet would increase just for the small businesses that are there. So I had that one concern, and my other concern was the when you talked about the facilities use policy, it concerned me that you had one personnel issue and you were already tonight ready to create a new policy. So that was very concerning, and that's all I've got for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Yep.
comment. Gary, you're up.
Couple things. The state law provides procedures for reporting potholes. Call 1-800-POTHOLE. Now they're legally responsible for the pothole after a certain time. If you report a pothole, I believe, to the town, you have to report it to the town clerk. And that is, I believe,
No.
they have to respond within 24, 48 hours, something like that. Or they're responsible for all the damage that pothole caused. Yeah.
Who the clerk is?
Absolutely. That's what they do.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same way with the state. Right? So they've got there is a procedure that the state law provides. And the highway law or town. I was confused in the purchase of the truck, the 550, I think it was. You purchased it under Onondaga County bid. But then it said they gave you 3 quotes. Don't do quotes and bids. You one or the other. It wouldn't be subject to quotes. Anyways, you got them on one guy. You gotta go for bids. That's why you go on either the county bid, consortiums, or state. On the website, the agenda for, I don't recall whether it's Climate Smart or the advisory. It posted the agenda. Are they going to post the minutes of those meetings?
I've asked for them.
I haven't seen them posted.
Okay, we'll
So,
get them to you.
and that's gonna be difficult, but I believe town board said that it would. If you're gonna publish a letter by the board in the Sentinel, could you also post it on the website? That wasn't provided.
Yeah, it is.
Don't know if
Social
Sentinel
media.
knows what circulation of the Sentinel is within the town of Mendon. Whether it's a few hundred people or it's 5,000, I don't know. I really don't. And if it's worthwhile for 100 people to pay the cost, is it worth it or not? Going back to the letter, trying to raise the 20% bids or whatever. Most of the big ticket items are purchased on bids, either state bid, county bid, or this. And those you have no choice. You really don't have a choice. If bid goes up, you gotta live.
So if the price of fuel goes up, the state has criteria. What's the cost of fuel at the Hudson River? And that's the price of what's next. Just like the salt. Everything else. So you're changing the limits isn't gonna change. That's how that works. If you're having trouble getting bids, you don't have to, it says you get 3 bids. I believe the policy says you gotta get 3 bids if it's over X amount. Now, if you can't get the bids, you just show that we tried to get the bids. And you don't have to, if you only get 2, that's fine. It doesn't mean that if you don't get 3, you can't buy it. Okay, so you just have to remember that. And the same with quotes. You don't have to, town policy says you gotta get somebody quotes. But you don't have to get them, you have to try them. And then, no.
Thank you.
Remember, there was another thing I wanted to bring up. I don't remember what.
Thanks.
If it's sole source. If an item, like you were saying, if you can only get it from one person, say you got a Volvo truck and they sell this part, you just say it's sole source. It's not a big deal.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
One more comment.
Another
Oh,
more.
sorry.
Couple more.
Oh, 2, wow.
Andy Bassett,
Oh, 3.
3.
So Megan Minoff, what I think was a deal for legal misconduct, whatever that was. I did not hear a dollar amount. As was pointed out, it's all taxpayer monies. 3 is great, but you had a not to exceed on, yes, was retracted, but a letter to the Sentinel, so it would be great to hear a not to exceed on whatever that deal was. Because the taxpayers gotta pay for it. Even 0 would be a great number to hear. Which thing, Steve?
Address that.
Sure, go ahead.
So it's actually fully covered by the insurance company.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
For the question. And, David?
Dave Smith, 235 Bobble Hills. The community engagement committee, it seems to be, to me, to be just redundant. Tonight is community engagement, we're here. Part of the community engagement is resumes. I do not understand that. If you're a citizen of this community, you should be able to be on the board and be engaged. I don't care if you don't have a resume. Maybe you got a PhD, I think it's irrelevant. It's engagement, community engagement. It has nothing to, it's not brain surgery committee, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
2 concerns. The first one is the facility use policy, or when you're thinking about that. The library has the library board of trustees. They're responsible for the program. You guys are responsible for the building. Be aware of that line. I ask you not to cross it. Trustees have the responsibility for the library. Second thing is, I took a ride out to Potterville Park last night. And from Junction Road to Mile Square Road, there were 11 advertisements that I am paying within 15 feet of the side of the road. Somebody is doing window washing.
Yeah.
And that's my taxpayer dollar that they're encroaching on.
Yeah.
These signs are not, they're on public property. They're on some private lands that are vacant. I know they're violating the code. Are we calling the phone number that's prominently displayed and saying, get your signs off of there? See you in my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for, really good comments. I really appreciate it. Okay, public comment is over. I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right.
That was a long one.